Peace and blessings, family. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Taye Speaks. We got a very special guest in the house, somebody that's been in the game for decades now, definitely a pioneer in hip hop, especially on the West Coast. Very artistic, very creative brother. So without further ado, thank you, King, for coming on the platform. I definitely appreciate you, and it's definitely an honor. For the viewers who may not know, let them know what your name is, and definitely let them know where you're from.
First of all, thanks for having me. This is like something special for me because I'm from where I'm from, and this is reaching all the way across the world back home to where we came from originally. So that right there is something to note. Without mainstream, without the industry, just like hand to hand, person to person, like music traveling without any major promotions or any of that stuff, just underground. But me, my name is the Ryman Riddler. I'm from Chillin' Villain Empire, The Good Life, Project Blow, Afterlife, um, Gorilla Spit with Pterodactyl, a couple other loose organizations, but mainly that's it right there. Project Blow, Good Life, Chillin' Villain Empire.
Okay, okay. Now my first question is, what was the underground scene like in LA in the 80s and in the early 90s?
Um, I started out in the 80s. When I started, I can't even say it was a underground scene. It was just hip hop was new, and like those who were in it early, the pioneers, was jumping into it. I had a couple older gangster homies in my hood who would just like freestyle rap, and they was real funny. William Earl Jones and Jimmy Jones, and they was brothers, and they was like funny. They had jokes. They'd always bag and shoot on motherfuckers just like all the time. Then they would freestyle rap, and it was funny. And that's kind of what that was my first introduction into seeing somebody rap, other than hearing the few songs that it came out at the time. But back then, early I got into DJing, in like 80, late 83, early 84, I started DJing. I was really into the hip hop, the music, and the b-boy and everything that I was hearing, but the DJing is what called me. Although I did pop lock and stuff back in the early days of it, before the resurgency of it with hip hop, because popping and locking on the West Coast is older than breakdancing. And so when breakdancing started, it took those elements and then brought them into it, and that played out on the West Coast, and b-boying brought those things back too. So it was a resurgence of popping and locking along with the new thing of breakdancing, which the East Coast put into it. And I would pop, lock, break a little bit. I wasn't the best b-boy, but DJing is what caught me. And the only DJ in my neighborhood happened to like my sister, and he was trying to get at my sister. So I started hanging out with him, and he'd teach me to mix. He was a couple years older than me, and I learned and brought it back to my crew that I was hanging with, and started my own little side DJ group. And I really didn't like a lot of the rap. I liked the beats, but a lot of the rappers I wasn't feeling, so I didn't want to play the stuff. I thought I could do better, so I got into rhyming in like '84, and ever since then, I've been rhyming. And the underground scene was basically built by my generation, and the generation, like some guys slightly older than me, then my generation are the ones who made underground what it is, and battling and freestyling and all of that came off from kids my age at the time, who are now, I'm 52, so those around my age are the ones who really first started the whole just hardcore freestyle battle scene. Because when we would listen to like Rakim say freestyle, we thought it meant off the head, like, and Micah Nine say like he coined the term freestyle, but at the same time, me and my homies called it freestyle too, because we thought rapping off the head, because we actually thought that some of them was rapping off the head when they said freestyle. We didn't have any way to associate it with them, and something that they wrote that didn't have a meaning. So we was trying to rap as dope as they written stuff off the head, because we thinking that's how they doing it. So it was a misinterpretation that started us freestyling like we freestyle. And I started freestyling in like '84. That was like what I did, because that's what the dudes who I looked up to in my neighborhood did also. But I took it to another level of doing it. And from there, I formed CBE with my partner JB Nice. And a few years later, Fish got in the group, and the Good Life started after Fish got in the group. And he got in the group in like 1988, and '89. The Good Life started at the end of '89, and we already knew the guys who started it. We was working with them previous to the Good Life formation, and we had this group of brothers who would meet every Wednesday night called African Brothers Collective, and we would just talk about what's going on politically, socially, and everything in the black neighborhoods. And like out of this came like some of the brothers who worked with the truce that started in the big gang truce that happened in '92 after the riots, and others in political organizations. And there was a lot of politicking going on in this at the same time. A lot of us were music orientated too, so we put the politics in the music, and we made this project called Underground Radio, which was like it started with like a radio station being taken over called WKKK, broadcasting from the Appalachian Mountains. And like we kick in on the doors on some militant shit, like Panther shit, and take over and start broadcasting underground radio. And we had like field reporters out doing manhole reports that would do these little skits throughout the album that were called manhole reports. And this tape that came out from this was called Underground Radio, and it was produced mainly by Arcane Blaze and Akono. And Akono is he's from, I believe he's Nigerian, but he's one of the Earthquake brothers, one of the producers from the Freestyle Fellowship. But he used to rap too, and his producer was Arcane Blaze, and he was the main focus behind this tape. And he was also B Hall's son, who started the Good Life. And that Thursday night was named Underground Radio after this tape we had made. And this was all the bubbling of underground rap in LA and making it something. And during that time, it was like battles, like crazy battles. You on the bus, like you see somebody, you know how a rapper look, on the back of the bus, and you just walk away like, rap man, what you rap? And it's a battle right down the back of the bus at the bus stop. I lived in Venice at the time, so Venice Beach, we like battling all the time, like with anybody who came to the beach, especially if you looked like you was from the East Coast or New York, because they thought California rappers were weak. And we was like setting another standard. So I would look for them. I wasn't really tripping off other rappers from California. I was looking for those who was from other places, thinking that we were slow or behind or something on hip hop. But that was the early scene in the '80s, and it was crazy. It was like Hollywood. You go up to Hollywood, they b-boying out there on the Walk of Fame where the stars are. It's battles going on, rap battles, dance battles, everything. The scene was like live and crazy during like the mid '80s the up until the late '80s, early '90s. That scene kind of died down, and other scenes were being born. But at that same time, the like freestyle battle scene was being consolidated.
Oh man, you said so much. You dropped a lot of gems in that. I truly appreciate you giving that breakdown for the viewers and myself. Man, I'm almost blown away by all of the information that you provided. So, one of my questions is about the cafe. Now, was it an actual the Good Life Cafe? It was actually like a place where they serve coffee and food, or is that kind of like a play off of the name? If you could break that down a little bit.
The Good Life Cafe did not serve coffee. It was a vegetarian restaurant. They had wheatgrass growing on the counter, you know, and they
Wow.
served a plate called the Warrior Plate. It was like, and on the stage, it was like paintings of elephants and giraffes, and owners of it were all, Afrocentric. It was totally like black vegetarian Afrocentric in the 80s, you know, like leading that movement. And at the time I was already like back then I was vegetarian coming into it, and I was already kind of living that lifestyle that, you know, so it was like that was like a welcome home to me to have a place like that where we could go to and like rap and at the same time, you know, and it was something different every night there, like already going on. They had a lot of like lectures going on where black intellectuals would come in and speak from all throughout the diaspora, you know, and like crowd and people would come and do that, and like they needed something for the youth, a different thing on it. So on Thursday night, B Hall suggested the hip hop thing to him, who is Arcane Blaze's mother, and they did that, you know, and it set that movement, you know, and that's how that movement started. That's the good life. But it was actually a vegetarian restaurant where you go any day, walk in there and eat. Like I had my daughter's naming ceremony there. She's 31 now. Like yeah, she just turned 31, but she had her naming ceremony at the Good Life in 1990 when she was born, you know, and like Micah 9 and AC, they was my personal friends. They were there at her naming ceremony, and it was a African style, you know, West African, you know, where we poured to the Orishas and, you know, the whole thing. Because back then I was really, really, my African consciousness was really up there, still there, but I don't, you know, wear it like I did then.
Oh wow, man, that sounds like my type of place, man. I'm just envisioning this place as you describing it. You talking about naming ceremonies and the Orishas and stuff like that. I think, man, we need some of that in every city. You know what I'm saying? We would be so much doing so much better if we had a cafe like that going all around to all the, you know, the major hubs where the black people is at. Because a lot of black people they not in tune, or they maybe they don't have access to places like that. That could be a life changing, you know what I'm saying, situation for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yes,
appreciate you
sir.
sharing that, man, definitely. I'm trying to think. I remember the freestyle. My first introduction to the freestyle fellowship was No Boundaries. I was watching the movie the other day. I think it might have been Strapped. I'm not sure, but the song was
Hmm.
playing. You know what I'm saying? And they was the content, the lyrical content was strong. And I'm like, man, I was a kid back then, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'm older now to kind of digest and process the things that they were saying. And it's like, you
Yeah.
know, hip hop had that black Afrocentric era. And we could have
Hmm.
kept that going, man. The game would have been a lot stronger. So, you know, big salute to you and everybody that was affiliated with y'all and the content that y'all was producing. Because it's still planting seeds to this day. It's still being recognized. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you
Yeah.
breaking that down. Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the music haven't went anywhere. It's just the focus of the industry and the, you know, populace has shifted, you know, but the music is there and the seeds are still being cultivated. So when the time is right, you know, they're gonna pop back up again because everything moves in circles
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
most definitely, most definitely. Now I want to ask you about or and maybe you might have touched on it a little bit. Project Blow, was it that was after the Good Life Cafe or kind of going on at the same time?
Um, we kind of had an exodus um, from the Good Life Cafe. So it was still going on at the same time we left and went to Project Blow, but it wasn't the same because when we went to Project Blow, the energy that made the Good Life went to Project Blow. But out of respect, we kept it on. We kept it on that Thursday night because we wanted to keep that tradition. That's like our, you know, that was our sacred night for hip hop. But out of respect, we started ours the same. The last hour of the Good Life is was our first hour. So we opened our
Yeah.
doors as they was wrapping up. Basically, we didn't step on their toes by opening up at the same time or nothing. But we brought that energy. So when we left, the energy left with us, basically.
Okay, okay, I understand that. Now, do you have any projects or albums or songs that's online or people can check out some of your music?
Um, yeah, I got a lot of stuff that's on Spotify or, you know, all of those things like that. Google Music, where there's Apple Music, whatever you use to get in that. Then I got some stuff that's on YouTube, a lot of stuff that's just stuff that I never really released um, physically like that or on digitally even. It's just the songs are on YouTube and a lot of our mixtapes and other stuff on the YouTube channel on my Riddlore CV YouTube. Then we got a CVE YouTube page, which is all of our stuff that's distributed through like DistroKid. All like the official releases are on there. Then on Bandcamp, it's like a shitload of, you just put my name in, of features that I did with other people all over the world. I like, last time I searched it and saw it, I was like tripped off of like, damn, I'm on this many fucking songs. Like I need to probably like collect those and release a project just of all the features that I'm on, because
Yeah.
it's like so many, just like, but but I don't even trip off of it, and I don't ask for money for most of them, hardly any of them, because that's kind of what we do as hip hop anyway in the community. Like I never got into it for the money or to be a rich rapper, so the money ain't my goal for making music. I make music because I fucking live music and love music, so I do it, and I'm gonna continue to do it. So, you know,
Oh yeah, much respect to you, King. I definitely gotta salute you. And like you said in the beginning, you started off DJing. That's where it all started with hip hop with the DJs, and then you took it to the b-boying and even picking up the pen and becoming an MC. So I'm sure you got a lot of love
yeah.
for the craft, most definitely. Okay, now I wanted to ask you about your latest song. You dropped a song called Game Over. I wanted to ask you what made you do that song and why?
Um,
If you want,
what
if
made
it's
me do
okay
that
to.
song? Like, just 'cause dude keeps running his mouth and just talking, and like hip hop is about, what you doing on the mic and what you dropping in your songs, and like, we had a few things back and forth, and like really I'm not really trying to troll and talk and do all that online. So he's talking, putting Micah Nine, putting the fellowship, putting the good life, putting the blow name all in his conversations and all this stuff online, and like, yeah, that's let's do it for real, like hip hop shit, like, 'cause all that other shit really don't matter unless you're really talking about doing something, and I'm not
Right,
interested, you know.
right, right,
You don't inspire the passion to get physical with them, so I'll just drop
mhm.
some bars on them and leave it at that.
Right, right. I mean, I gotta respect you. I mean, you utilizing the elements of hip hop. That's really how you supposed to handle it. You know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah,
a tight song, and for the viewers, check it
and it's
out.
my own
It's,
production too. That's
oh wow, you
and
made that beat?
that's yeah. As a DJ, I'm naturally a producer, because if you're a DJ, you're a producer. Like a beat maker. If you can DJ, you should be able to make a beat. They like go hand in hand, and like I started, like, me and Fish do all early on. We are CV for the beats. Like it's just me and Fish as the producers too, and we started producing because we didn't have a producer. And back in the day, it wasn't like a million producers online that you can get beats for, and beats just fucking everywhere. Beats were very fucking rare and hard to come by, an original beat. Most people who came to the good life came with an instrumental that was a recorded instrumental from some other rapper that they rapped over. They didn't have their own beat. Having your own beat was a fucking luxury back then, and hard to do. And producers wanted to give you secondhand beats because they already had their main group they was working with. The beat they didn't reject, they want to slide to you, the beat that they rejected. So you're like, I'm cool. We got shit, and we started making our own beats out of necessity, not because we wanted to fucking be producers like that, but just because we wanted our own beats and didn't want to rap over beats that were just instrumentals of other rap songs and our secondhand, our rejected beats. So we got into the production side.
Man, I gotta give you your props on that one because you killed it lyrically. I mean, like for you to been doing it all of these decades and you just dropping something in 2021, the track is fire, but the beat is fire. The beat is hard. I'm telling the viewers, check it out. The beat is fire. So I don't even know if anybody ever really did something like that, like responded to someone and they made the beat as well. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot because it's fitting to what you were saying. You know, it's relevant. It's not just the beat. You know how it come on and how it start off. So wow, man, I gotta definitely salute you on that note for sure. Let me
Thanks,
see.
bro. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's an honor for sure. So man, you pretty much covered everything. You pretty much broke it all the way down. Like I say, I'm gonna edit the interview up for sure. I got one last. Okay, I got two questions. Okay, do you have any upcoming projects? Is it an album coming, a book, a documentary, clothing line, anything? Are you working on?
Um, we got a book right now that we've been finished with the book for a while, but we waiting to finish up the album before we drop it so we can drop it together. The album is a little harder to put together right now than the book because me and Fish both got jobs, so
Right,
like the
right.
recording time, the recording tight is like, that's the task. But it's coming together nicely right now. It's mainly me and Fish on the vocals, but Reckless is on there too, especially with a lot of the choruses and stuff. So it's coming together nicely right now. So you can be looking for a new CD album along with the book of like lyrics from a lot of our classic songs in it.
Wow, wow. I look forward to that as well. That's dope, man. I got a lot of respect for you and what you're doing. I would look forward to reading something like that because I love to read most definitely. Um, okay, so my last question, this is a question that I ask pretty much all my guests. And by you coming up out of the cafe, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about being a black man in American society today in 2021?
Man, how do I feel like being a black man in America now? It's like I feel like my whole life I've been like lied to and gaslit on levels that I'm just figuring out now, and some that I probably won't even figure out until at a later date. It's just so much like layered bullshit and propaganda that they feed us in America to keep white supremacy alive and strong and thriving well that they do on black people and people of color and their own trickery, to keep us in this situation that it's fucking incredible and mind boggling when you like just think about certain shit like, oh yeah, wait. Fuck. They did that too, fucking white supremacy,
Mm.
And being from South Africa, I'm sure you know.
Oh, I'm
What
from
white
I'm
supremacy
from
like.
I'm from America, but my goal is to move
Okay,
permanently. But
yeah,
no, I'm from
okay.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. Okay. Oh, you from Cleveland? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man. I got a sister in Cleveland, man. My big sister live in Cleveland. Oh
Oh
yeah,
wow.
man.
Okay. Okay. Small world.
Yeah, I'll be out there
Yeah.
sometime. I got family in Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have to connect, man. I didn't know you had the beats like
Mm.
that. You got some fire beats, most definitely. But yeah, that's my thing because I travel all around the world. I've been to about 70 countries and I've been to about 15
Uh-huh.
African countries. I lived in South Africa. I spent the entire year in South Africa, but I'm in
Okay.
Cabo Verde now, so I'm on the west side of
Uh-huh.
Africa. But
Uh-huh.
I want to
Yeah.
get land. I want to build. I
Hmm.
want to establish something for myself, most definitely.
Yeah. Me too. I did like that little 2.5 months in Uganda. I was out there.
Wow.
Yeah, I went out there to perform at a festival, but I took my equipment with me and I was teaching some production with Ableton and some stuff, and I was recording vocals, and I did a whole instrumental album while I was there with stuff that
Mm.
throughout, music that was throughout Africa, just different stuff that one of the dudes that brought me out there was working with this um, archive and all these field recordings that were taken like in the fucking 40s, 50s, 60s, like in Africa, like, and he gave me the whole collection. And while I was there, I made an instrumental album too that they put out on a label that's in Uganda. It's called Nege Nege Records, and the album is called um, Afro Mutations, and it's on
Wow.
Bandcamp.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on Bandcamp, an instrumental album that I produced while I was in Africa over that 2.5 months.
Wow, that's heavy, bro. Wow. I see, I never been to Uganda. I've been to a lot of African countries. I never been to Uganda. So I want to ask you, if it's okay, what was your experience when you was in Uganda? You know what I'm saying? Was it a positive experience? Was it negative?
It
Did
was
you see
positive,
things?
man.
You
It
know
was
what I'm saying?
positive. It was beautiful. It was beautiful because I got
Okay.
to see, like firsthand and there, and it's different. I met people from different tribes and a lot of people from different countries. A lot of refugees in Uganda, especially from there's people there that came uh from Congo, from uh what's the country that just split into two? Sudan, and I forgot what other country. Oh, and Somalia, like a lot of,
Mm,
a lot in Uganda. So it's a place that's dealing with an influx of refugees, and then a lot of different people from different tribes there too, and but the people they get along well. It's not a lot of tension for it to be like that. And I felt like it was crazy to see all these people with all these guns and not be afraid. Like I am in
mm.
America when I see people with guns. It's a
Oh
whole
yeah.
different feeling. I'm relaxed around their guns. Because I know that
Hmm.
they're not for me. Like that. They're
Right.
not specifically targeting me because of my color. I look like everybody else. So it's gonna
Oh
be,
yeah.
if the gun is pulled, it's because of my actions, not just because of who the fuck I am. That was like a
Right.
experience that I only had there, and I had that in Cuba too, because we, as a Project Blow, we did 3 trips to Cuba, and we recorded an album in Cuba down there too, that we recorded a lot of Cubans and left the project and songs down there. Like we went for Black August to perform for the Panthers, like the Black August Festival that the Panthers in Exile put on. And this was like in 2000, like right when Clinton was still president, and we had permission from the State Department to travel there, so it was all good to go. And our last trip when we were there was the night they did the recount and announced that fucking Bush had won the election. Like I'm in Havana that night.
Wow.
And like in this park where they got a bronze statue of John Lennon sitting there on the bench. When I hear the result of the elections, like people would think of a statue of a Lennon in a park in Cuba, they gonna think of another Lennon, not John
Yeah,
Lennon.
man.
Imagine they gonna imagine a whole another Lennon being from America.
Right, right. I want to respond to that. 2 points. I was gonna say one thing, like you were saying, it's a lot of layers, so much stuff you wouldn't believe it. Like Cuba is a dope place. I went to Cuba like two or
Yeah,
three times myself. I love Cuba, and
I
I would
mean,
say this. I was gonna say this. Like when you in America, when they show pictures of Castro, they always show him wearing green with the military outfit, looking, straight
mm-hmm,
militant. When I was in Cuba, man, I never seen this in my life. They show pictures, they show videos of Castro playing basketball, swimming, riding bike.
mm-hmm,
Just like a regular everyday thing, like a regular person. You would just be like, man, your mind would be blown. But back to
yeah,
Africa, I wanted to say this. It's a thing called the Global Peace Index. They do it every
mm-hmm,
year, and they rank the most peaceful countries to the most dangerous countries. So what I'm trying to say is Africa have about almost 60 countries. Africa have more countries than any other continent. I know you know this, but for the viewers who may
yeah,
not know, and so it's dozens and dozens of African countries that are far more peaceful than the United States. Less mass shootings, less homicides, less violent crime, less things of that nature, and a better quality of life, like places like Ghana, Uganda, Botswana, Namibia, Madagascar, Cape Verde.
mm-hmm,
You can go to these places and you don't have to worry about not only being a victim of violent crime, but also a victim of racism. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah,
real. Like
yeah.
it's a whole different, feeling. Like being outside of America, but most Americans don't leave. They watch
Mhm.
National Geographic documentaries or whatever, and that's how they get their outside experience. But it always comes back to America's the best country, and you can't, nah.
Hell
Nah, I've
no,
been like
hell
music
no.
took me to a lot of places, and I've been to Germany, I've been to Paris, I've been to Copenhagen, I've been to
Mhm.
Finland, Helsinki, I've been to Switzerland, like,
Yeah,
no, even Canada
yeah.
for that matter, you know,
Right, you ain't gotta go far.
no, yeah, yeah, even in Vancouver, yeah.
Mhm. Cause I'm in Cleveland, so I'm really like 2 hours from Canada, but everybody go to Niagara, probably 3, 4 hours, and Toronto probably like 5, 6 hours away if you drive. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Yep, yep. But yeah, King, man, I ain't gonna hold you up. I'll be talking about Africa all night. I just want to thank you again. I truly appreciate you coming on the show. And yeah, hopefully I have it out in the next couple of days, and I'll tag you and send you a link, most definitely.
All right, for sure, man. Thanks, man. Good interview. I
Oh
appreciate it.
yeah, oh yeah. Yep, yep. Thanks
Yeah,
for tuning
yeah,
in,
yeah,
family. Until
yeah,
next
man.
time, Taye Speaks. Peace.
Peace.